This one, or this one. There's a lot on that, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Oh, our piper.
Sure. Don't be like her with this little joint.
Yeah.
This one now it was up to you. Oh, she's one thing for you. Like her Michelle and Jenny going up. Yeah, so she make that. Let it go. Her hour has her gymnastics. Shoulders, they call it. It's like her recital, but for gymnastics. I'm sorry. So you're available. Yep, it's how you put it on the calendar. Well, part of that Max will come with us. You have to be home. Cool. Maybe come for they'll pass it to work. Her little bar is that. It's amazing what she does. We're one nice girl. So she'll do it through the end of May. She likes it. It's good exercise for her. Gets her away from that tablet too. Well, and I feel like dance and gymnastics are like play off each other and skill sets. Good call.
Right. Did you print off those ordinances that never got amended? Did you get
No, I
that?
just got them today. There's too many of them.
That's why I didn't print them up either. I was in the middle of
We're gonna have to. I mean, I started reviewing some of them, but some of them, I mean,
they're old, 1999.
yes. We're gonna have to.
We're gonna have to kind of stack them up by eight to see.
Yeah, and actually maybe find out if any of them are being used anymore, right?
Yeah.
Call the meeting to order. Roll call.
We can get that clicked.
I think we're on.
Mr. Maskey.
Here.
Fletcher. Here. Adams. Opperman. Here. Have you guys had a chance to sit and go over these minutes from the last two meetings? start with February. Did you guys read through February's? February 10th, in fact.
Maybe go through February 10th. I did. It's the one from last week, from March.
Well, let's do February's first. Fletcher, did you have a chance to read through February?
I've been reading through it, but I haven't gotten all the way through it.
So actually, we did your roll call. We want to first review and approve the agenda.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I didn't look.
I do have one thing I'd like to add under old business, update on the workable energy thing next month.
Put it at the bottom, Mr.
Yeah.
Joseph.
Yeah, that's fine.
I have a motion to add workable energy at the bottom. Both business, can I have a support?
Second.
Roll call, Maskey,
Yes.
Fletcher, Savage, Jones.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Was there anything else that was oversight?
So I guess the one thing is, I mean, we did get the meeting minutes from the February 10th meeting on Friday.
Mhm.
We just received the meeting minutes from our meeting last Thursday today. Do we want to approve both, or do we want to give time for people to digest the second one first, you know?
Oh, I took them right off of the recording.
I know, but
So I mean, we can take a minute to read them again. They should, I know they're long, but
Well,
whether we get
I mean,
caught
I
up.
feel definitely the one for the Monday, February 10th meeting, because that was given out to us. you know,
right.
on
So
Friday.
let's just do one at a time, and then when some marches, we can determine if we want to just
Yes.
have a motion, and then if not, we'll move forward. So
I move we approve the minutes for March
Oh,
or February the 10th.
yes.
So meeting minutes for February 10th, page 2. At the end of that first paragraph, it says motion by Jarzell, seconded by Fletcher to approve agenda with changes identified. It doesn't identify if that motion was passed or not. That needs to be added to the meeting agenda or to the meeting minutes.
Okay, how far down on that?
Page 2.
Right up here. Talk about the last couple sentences.
Assuming it was passed, but it doesn't state
Yeah.
that.
Okay. I'm sure it was passed too. I'll double check before I fill it in.
Then we go down 3/4 of the way. The statement is start with the sentence before. Or engineer to be sure the site plan matches Millington Township ordinance. Several items were mentioned to be that needed to be reviewed, especially on an expired plan. I don't feel this board agrees that that is an expired plan. I feel that, especially on an expired plan, needs to be reviewed.
I think we made it pretty clear it was expired, both by the lawyer's opinion and because it was 2 years past when it would even have been considered for the renewal. And I think it needs to stay in there because just because of the timing.
I mean, as we noted, to have a ongoing active gravel pit, you are not going to do your reclamation plan in 2 years. That's just physically not going to happen.
No, that the
So
reclamation plan that we were talking about is the plan with the houses. And that needs to be reviewed and updated, as it was mentioned in there, due to the changes on the topography of the land and the gravel pit as it progresses.
So you do not need to have a 2-year expiration date on that. I don't agree that plan has a 2-year expiration date on it.
It was 2 years past due. Which one is he looking at? I must not be looking at the same
It's
thing.
right down here in this area, just the second up right. Right there. About that right there.
Okay, several items were mentioned that need to be reviewed, especially on an expired plan. That means the plan that he had here that night was expired. That does not mean we're going to renew it in 2 years.
No, the plan he had actually brought in was attached to a special land use permit that still doesn't expire for another year.
No. You must
So-
not have been listening yet because
I
we
was
explained
listening.
it fully that night.
I was listening.
Yeah, the plan that he had here was expired. That's why you guys went through the process to get him to update it and bring in a new one.
Take a vote.
Let me take a vote. I make a motion that we remove especially on expired plan.
What is your exact motion? What you want, just expired plan removed? You
Make
want
a
the whole
motion that
sentence
we
removed?
remove the words especially on an expired plan. This board does not feel that plan was expired.
This whole board agreed it was overdue. Now, overdue and expired are pretty close. You're splitting hairs, Ed.
But we find out if we don't split hairs, these meeting minutes can be extruded against us.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Take the vote.
First, we need to have the motion.
So
That's
it would read,
intact.
several items
has
were
to be
mentioned that
supported.
need to be reviewed. Period.
Yes.
The important part of that whole meeting was that it was an expired plan, folks.
I don't know where you're reading.
Yeah.
Right, I get what he's saying. I agree. Several items were mentioned that need to be reviewed, especially in the expired plan. References to the R2 zone, R5,
I'm on page
being
2.
allowed a commercial zone.
Tri County aggregates.
I'm not sure.
And I don't see where. Okay. So
She's saying that plan was expired.
who was? That's why he had to bring a new one in.
No, he brought it in a year ago. When it actually expires.
That special use permit he brought in a year early, not the reclamation plan.
Correct.
So the reclamation plan said approximately 10 to 15 years. There was no
But it
true
was-
date on it.
Past the 15 years.
What's
Yeah,
approximately?
17
What does approximately mean?
17 is more than
Well,
15.
17 is way more than 15.
If approximately 10 to 15, there's your parameters. 17 is beyond the whole.
But at 17,
Support Ed's motion.
the problem is it's not going to change anything.
Hang on.
What he brought us is going to be what he's going to bring us.
All right, so we had a motion. Luann supported it. We're gonna take roll call. Ed's motion is he wants, especially on an expired, removed from there on the minutes. So that's what the roll call is to remove that. Mr. Opperman?
I'd like to do a little more discussion.
Okay.
He brought this plan in because he was bringing in, he wanted more goods to bring into his gravel pit.
So
That was the first step, right?
and then we realized when we approved the special land use permit to extend his mining operation, that the reclamation slash site plan was not approved.
It was past
And
date.
it was past due by at least 2 years.
It was past due, right.
Because I don't.
So you
understand
had to update the reclamation plan for the site.
You can update it, but I guess how do you have a different expiration date on the site plan versus the special land use permit?
Because
Two items.
it's two separate items. The reclamation plan is separate from the special use permit.
The reclamation plan and the site plan are two separate items.
No, they're actually the same document.
No,
It was one document. It says
Well,
reclamation select
It
site.
shouldn't be. Because the reclamation document is how it's gonna be reclaimed. The site plan document is how the buildings are gonna be put in, the roads are gonna be put in, pond's gonna be put in.
But they were all on the same document.
A site plan has the engineer's stamp on it, the reclamation plan. And that was outdated by 2 years, even if we go with the 10 to 15 years. We could have turned it in at any time in that 10 to 15 years. They got overlooked. It's now 17 years, and we had all agreed that's why he's doing that, to update it because he's 2 years overdue.
Why wasn't this looked at last October when he came in?
He didn't bring it to us,
It's set right at this table.
not the reclamation plan.
I thought the parent did.
No, they
No,
had.
the only thing that
Special
we
use.
looked at in October was his special use permit. And he already had a site plan in here, even though it was expired.
He turned that site plan into this township, didn't he?
Yeah,
In October?
He turned the site plan in October to show the commercial use. That was granted to him when he gave up the property for the rent.
And we chose not to review all of it.
No, we did review it
He
then, and
turned in
that's
the cover sheet site plan, but not the whole reclamation plan.
right. Correct. Yes.
Just 1 second. I'll leave it.
Ransky,
Yes, I vote to remove it as was.
Mr. Fletcher,
I vote to leave it. It isn't gonna hurt nothing.
Mr. Rizzo.
It doesn't
Leave it.
mean anything.
All right, I'll go with the no to leave it. All right.
3,
Okay.
First paragraph, ordinance 5.016 was reference regarding putting additional safeguards. I reviewed that. Ordinance 5.01G is for agricultural business, not short-term rental. It's not certain land use permit. That is 5.03.
You're saying 5.01 should be 5.03?
No, I think the whole thing should be removed because, or unless we look at it one more time, but what you referenced there is not adding it.
1G. Ag business activities. That wouldn't.
What does that have to do with the gravel pit?
Yeah, no.
5.01G doesn't have anything to do with
Doesn't have
it.
anything to do. Why did that get put in there?
It's what is written, so.
What should be changed is his reclamation plan. This looks like it's referring to the reclamation plan, and the houses there
But
would have to follow the applicable ordinances.
if you look at 5.01G, states agribusiness activities not to exceed 2,500 square feet and a total floor space dedicated to such use.
It has nothing to do with the gravel pit.
Okay, so it should be 503.
So what 503G?
There is no 503G.
G. Oh, wait, I can-
Decision confirming. Ed, if you ever want to call me ahead of time and let me know that some numbers might be wrong so I can look it up, I'd be more than happy to.
Luann, I only
I
got,
sent these to you last week, like you
right,
asked.
and I got to them today. I'm busy myself.
No,
I'm busy myself.
so what do you need?
Right here's what you mean, Luann.
Okay, so I just looked up.
It's second, it's reading right here on page 10 right here. I don't know what ordinance it is. 503G decisions and permits.
Yeah,
Is that what you were meaning there?
probably is, yep. Have to follow the ordinances applicable at the time. And we were referring to that, so it would be 503.
Well, maybe it was 501G at that time. What was 501G at that time when he originally did it?
No, he's referring to this one.
Yeah, it's section 503G. That's all gravel pit. The reclamation part for the special.
I mean, I understand that, but it says at that time. So were we referring to
Well-
this original?
Now, her next sentence, it was noted we need to stay current with the ordinance. I mean, I could see the mistake being the 501 versus 503.
Okay, it's easy enough. I mean,
Joanne, were you think you were referring to 501 or 503?
503.
And that would need to be updated.
Yep.
Yep. Item pricing.
anyone else? No? Okay, no? I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes with change.
Report.
Is there any more discussion? Roll call. Fletcher?
Yes.
Kransky?
Yes.
Opperman?
Yes.
Savage, yes. Sturtman?
Yes.
All right. So on these March 6th minutes, you guys want to sit and read them now, or would you like to?
Is there any reason we couldn't delay until next meeting?
Not if you guys want to make a motion and
If the minutes aren't approved, are we able to act on whatever's in there? Does that make a difference?
I don't know.
That's why I was trying to, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we're gonna act on anything that's in there though.
Okay, just wondering.
Yeah, I don't think so neither, Mr. Zoll.
Okay. I just wanted to get them out quickly so that.
No, I agree with what you did, but just with the other minutes and then. It's up to the board what you guys like to do. I'm okay either way. Are we gonna sit and go through these, guys?
What do we want to wait? Wait, go, definitely.
It's your guys' choice. I reviewed them pretty much.
Actually, did you make a motion?
I do not. I'm gonna make one, but I make a motion that the board reviews these in more detail and we vote on the next meeting.
Do we have a support on it?
I'll support that.
Mr. Fletcher,
Yes.
Askey,
Yes.
Mr. Adele,
Yes.
Hopperman?
Yes.
Yes, okay. We will review these and then come back to the next meeting. So if anyone on the planning commission has anything they need to or think that Roselle needs to address, please email her and have a conversation with her so she's prepared.
Yeah, because I can look
Guys,
it back
so
up
she's
on the recording.
she has an opportunity to
Yeah, we have plenty more time. to go.
watch. We have more than enough time to go. She's not put on the spot on any of that. Okay.
But it's so much fun.
Reliving every meeting 2 or 3 times is not so much fun.
That's why you get compensated so well for that process.
All right, guys, I'm gonna move on.
Little rerun.
I'm gonna move on to public comment. Is there anybody that would like to speak about anything before we get moving?
Sure.
Go for it. What's your name and address?
Patrick Wood, 8388 State. I live in this community. I've lived in this community a long time. This community has lost 790 human souls to live in someplace else. Remember this, Gagan? 39. 39 million. Every single year we lose in revenue in this community. And we fight, we get mad at each other, and we can't come together on something that we have to. We try to get hospital beds for this community. It's a joke. It's a joke. They won't come. They won't come because of this stuff and that stuff and the stuff out there. And, when you don't have a school, when it all combines, and there's Airbnbs out of that lake, and there's solar panels out there, and everybody's fighting over everything. What do you want? What do you guys want? What do you want your town to be? What do you want your community to be? Because this is bullshit. And I'm tired of it. My business and everybody else's business in this town is paid dearly for this. What are we going to do? When's this group going to go over and talk to that group? And that group and this group talks to that group so we can come together on a community that will bring us those 790 people back. Because until we get them, we won't get that revenue. That's, I believe, $790 million over 20 years. What are we going to do for the next 20? That's my question to all of you. Do you have an answer? Is there a plan at my township that says you're going to do something about that? Anything. Anything at all. I mean, I got a plan at my business. I've got a plan on how to run it. I got a plan how to end it. I got a plan on everything. What's the plan to move this township forward?
Are you talking on any particular business?
Everything.
Or
Everything.
because rentals and solar and village, they got little different things. What is the main thing you're thinking?
Solidarity, collaboration. We can't get a hospital here, and you gotta have one. You're in a healthcare desert. You gotta have hospital beds. Here's the other thing you gotta have. You have to have kids in your school. You're gonna go to 8-man football next, and then you're gonna consolidate. Tell me I'm wrong. We've lost 790 kids, 6,000 people in Tuscola County have fled. That's the whole, this is from our Wheeler Township all the way out past Fostoria. That's everybody. Every person, every cat, every dog, every house, everything. Gone. Just consider it gone. What have we done? Why are we doing this? Why do I keep hearing it? Come together. Do it. Get it done and get it over with. Because I got to tell you, all you got to do is agree on one thing. Just one thing. And if you can do that, you can move forward. That's how we did all that stuff. That's why $1 million may be coming to the village this week. Because we collaborated on these things. We agreed. and we didn't fight with one another, and we didn't call our neighbors names. And we have to stop. Our kids depend on it. Somebody asked me yesterday why that happened to that poor kid. And that poor kid has had everybody sit in front of all of our kids for years and years. The sky is falling from every side. Well, it is. It is here. It's collapsed. What are you going to do to stop that? What is the plan? Not on 20 things. What is the plan that the township has to collaborate with the village and our Beulah Township and Water Township and the surrounding communities so we don't fall down to nothingness? What is that? Has anybody got that answer?
Absolutely. This board and this township should be working with that village over there.
Yeah.
That village should be working with this township over here.
Sure.
How much have you come over here? I'm not saying that's appropriate. How much have you come up? What is your examples that you're doing in the township that is bettering this township?
In the township?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
in the village, I'm sorry.
Okay, well,
Village,
we
I'm sorry.
went and got earmark money.
Okay, that is very good.
Okay, we did a lease equipment program. Okay, all right. We did a catastrophic program for our businesses. What else? There's plenty.
Done anything in the commercial over there in the industrial park? Doing
Yeah.
anything just to try to get people in?
Yes.
That is wonderful.
Yes.
That needs to happen.
Yeah. However, it's not one person.
No,
It's every single one of us.
absolutely.
We have to fight together. I don't like to use language like building armies and this kind of stuff, but we have to come together. We have to. Matt and I graduated from two of the biggest classes this town ever had.
Mhm.
That's not big anymore. What's this graduating class of the school?
80.
80.
I think it's around 80.
80.
Mhm.
What are we doing? Why are we doing it this way? Why do we keep rolling through the same thing? Or if this was a business, I'd close it.
You've reached your 3 minutes. So.
Yeah, I know.
When you came here sometime last year, you came in to talk to us and you had some big ideas.
Yeah.
Did you get any response from the office? I was expecting to hear something from those ideas, and so far we haven't.
Yeah, all those ideas. On the 14th, if they don't stop federal funding, the town will have an earmark for $1 million. Finish up infrastructure. We have infrastructure here, almost all done.
So the communication seems to be one-sided. It comes from the village to the township, and there it sits.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't belong. I'm just here as a citizen.
I understand
for
yeah.
that. And I know my 3 minutes is up, but what are we doing, guys? What are we doing?
Well, you're speaking to the planning commission.
Yeah, that's why I came.
Should you be also speaking to the township
Well,
board?
I'll talk to them. But planning commission, what is it? I mean, when I put a business together, I do a plan. I write a plan. I have a business plan for that village over there. The DDA plan. Has anybody ever opened that up and taken a look at what we put together? That was the other big thing we did. We put a DDA master plan back together. We did a lot of things. We have $277,000 just in the checking account alone at the DDA over there. It's because we accumulated those funds by TIF money and those things, and being conservative. So I don't mean to yell. I don't mean to scream. I'm pretty upset that I live in a community that I've really invested in that doesn't seem to want to invest in itself. It just wants to invest in this part over here, this part over here. But the core of this whole place, and the townships included, is the village of Millington and how we keep this thing strong. So we have a grocery store of our own. So we have these things. We don't have McPherson's closed on Monday. They're open and thriving. But you have to have traffic flow from your community. And then you have to have traffic flow through your community. And we all need to get together with the state, MEDC, CDAM, and all of these organizations that are out there to help us.
And be favorable to business. We need business in this town.
Well, the biggest thing this town needs, and it's no doubt about it, are humans. Every human that sits in this town is worth $50,000 to $70,000 in revenue every single year, whether they live in the township or they live in the village. 50 to 70,000. That's a kid, a grown adult, or whatever. That's how much. So it's people we need. Our resource is not corn or wheat. It's people. That's what it has to be. And if you don't do it, what are we doing? Why don't we just unincorporate everything and let this be what they're starting to talk about, which is a sacrifice zone. We can either be a gateway community or we can be a sacrifice zone. And a sacrifice zone gets no federal funds, gets no state funds, no funds whatsoever. They just let it die. That's Fostoria, Mayville, us, these communities that sit in the spot where we've lost massive amounts of population. Now, I know I'm well over my 3 minutes, and I'll get out of your hair. Keep this in mind, the Planning Commission. Keep this in mind because this is your land.
Pat, one last thing. Housing is an issue in this community. Somehow we got to get more,
Michigan.
right here. We got to get more housing in this community. We got to move to advance some more housing here. Because if you don't get the housing here, we can't get the people here either.
We set up a meeting with McLaren with Bill Oline for his property. That deal fell through. Bill Lutz is fighting to death. Bring another hospital beds here. But we can't do that because this is what they say to us all the time. It's Joe. They don't call you that. They call me that. They call Bill that. Why? Because we're trying to put something here that we got a whole lot of people out here suing each other. We got a whole lot of people out here screaming about energy. We got a whole lot of people screaming about everything. Everybody's mad about something. Stop being mad. Start making a plan. If we make a plan, we'll win. If we don't make a plan, we'll lose. And it involves all of us. Yeah, that's all I got.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Anyone else? All right, moving on. The old business. First thing on the topic is the cargo shipping Connex containers. All right, you guys, we've been sitting on this too long. Are we going to look at amending our ordinance to make them allowable use, or are we going to govern them, or are we just going to leave the ordinance the way it is?
Did everybody have an opportunity to read this? Ed provided this information about the Connex boxes, what they did in this Williams County.
Yeah, they had some good points.
I thought they had some excellent points in here. I thought it was actually done pretty nice. I also liked in this that there was a clause in here, you had to have 2 acres to be able to put them on or more.
Actually interesting today, on the MTA email that come up, there was another township that was asking for a template of what they could do for Connex sponsors.
Yeah, but
Is that true?
yes, last Thursday or Friday,
Thursday.
nobody answered. Yes, again today.
Did we go through this line by line and see if it's stuff we would like?
We've already had a public hearing. We need to make a decision on if this is something that we're gonna go through and amend our ordinances to make them allowable use with restrictions, or we're gonna leave our ordinance alone. We had a public hearing on it. We had one person show up.
Yeah, and that hearing covered both information.
Well, yeah, that wasn't a closed session, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am mistaken about that.
Yeah,
I
that
was
was
thinking
a
outside.
public hearing. for Connex.
Well, if we put some of this together, then we can move forward with a public hearing.
Right, we got
Yes.
to put together.
You guys are right.
some
I'm sorry.
We've
verbiage.
got a lot of them already here that either need to be taken care of or allow them. And keeping them, there are ways to keep them nice, keep them in the backyard, 2 acres thing is a good idea. Maybe we should go through here and quickly pull out the points we like. And then we're one step closer to the hearing. Maybe in 2 months we can have a hearing on it.
And with that, the end of next month, we're planning on having Wade and Grimm in.
Mhm.
'Cause, I mean, he may have a template or something too
I could ask him I mean, he won't talk about it that night, but he could definitely bring something for us, I'm sure. And then we can take his template, these ideas, and have our meeting and go,
Maybe we can stop in Otisville and ask them if they have any, because I noticed some in their township or in their community, a few of them.
yeah.
I drove by a few of them recently.
So how well are you guys wanting to govern these? Are we just gonna make them an allowable use with what we have in our ordinances now for like the shed setbacks and stuff, and not try and over govern them? I mean, in reality, I mean, anybody that's gonna buy or anyone that's gonna purchase one, they're gonna purchase it as a shed. So why can't it just not be governed the same way we govern a shed? I mean, what are we gonna do? Put all kinds of restrictions on them? That you gotta paint them, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. I mean,
Oh, no, just some simple, okay, special use permits so that we can say they're in the backyard, not the front. You know, the staying off the sidelines,
why can't they just be the same as the shed?
and then allow by right in the other. Oh, yeah, we don't allow sheds in the front yard.
No, why can't they just add it to the section where they're sheds and they're just the shed? They're made to be a shed. I don't know. You guys, it's whatever the board wants to do. It just seems like we over govern everything.
I do think there should be some type of restrictions on the lot sizes.
We don't make a restriction on the lot size for a shed.
You don't, but I think we should on some of
Small
this
lot
stuff.
size is
I
small
mean-
shed. These are not, they don't come small.
20s, 40s,
Yeah, but that's still,
they're big. And then to put them on
It's-
little, small little lots, I
So,
think.
I mean, if you guys want to sit and go through this, let's sit and go through this and let's just make something happen. We gotta quit putting it off. We're either gonna make an allowable use out of it or we're not. Gotta do something with it today. Today's today.
the first section there, you know, used by right. Most of those areas it would be okay, but I don't know about the single family district. Is that talking like almost a subdivision where the homes are so close together? Maybe it not be used by right there.
I think what helps them to be able to say that if they have 2 acres, they must have 2 acres.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So
That stops them from putting them all around town. They don't have lots to that size, but like Elvin said, we don't have any restrictions on the semi-trailers or anything else that had 2 acre lots. Why would we do that for this?
And actually, this covers the temporary use. So that's, if someone's gonna move, they bring in a container and they fill it over a week or two.
Don't they have 90 days to get them out of there? If I read in here correctly. I think it was 90 days, so they can have them for short terms for moving purposes or something like that. If they have to be out of there. They can be extended additional or 90 calendar days right here and limited time use right here. So I think that has some nice things about it because we talked about not having it in the Lake District, but if the Lake District wanted to have move or remodel the house or something and move everything out there for 90 days and they can extend it one additional time to 180 days, I thought was a nice thought.
Would that be something like one of the movie times?
It could be something like that. It's very similar to the car on Xbox.
Rather than the big times.
Yeah, they're very similar, but yeah, I think the pods are very similar to the
Section
wouldn't you say?
1409, it covers the temporary structure stuff.
1409.
Page 30.
Temporary dwelling, not temporary like storage.
Yeah, that wouldn't be it.
That actually allows you to live inside it.
Right. And these do not in here. They say they cannot. They have restrictions that you could not live in.
Yeah, no
And
electricity to them.
no water and no animals living in them. But if it goes to that in depth, do you do that with the semi trailers and everything else? They're currently prohibited. Thought last meeting, didn't
they're
we
prohibited.
vote on them to be allowed?
No, you'd have to amend the ordinance.
Right,
Not
you'd have to have a
simple as
public
vote.
hearing for that.
Yeah.
We voted on that path, but we haven't.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you, Chairman.
Most of the semi trailers, I think most of them that are floating around the township are plated.
I mean, we talked a little bit about, do we have Wayne Trim give their input on this? And we compare the Wade and Trim background input to this, and they come up with a.
Well, he's gonna need
Amendment.
to know what way we're leaning. Are we leaning to allow them, or are we leaning not to allow them before he can bring in a template to go either way?
I don't see why we don't allow them because they're pretty strong built, constructive. Odd. I mean, but stronger than a lot of
Well-
you know. And they're definitely stronger than a semi trailer.
Mhm. You think if we allow these, would the people with the semi-trailers that are currently prohibited be inclined to get rid of the, maybe a not looking so good trailer and go to this? Is there any incentive for that, or is that,
No, because I think
I
most,
don't know how people think that use that for storage.
I think most people that use the semi trailers, they still have tires under them, and they might still have plates on them, or they're a farmer using them for.
But then they're
picking
allowable by our township ordinance if they're
Right.
plates on them. These in here, they also have to have a gravel foundation. So
Yeah.
they're kind of more of a.
Well, that
It
goes
says in
back,
here.
that's the same thing that would be underneath of any ordinance for a shed or anything like that.
B3. Foundation.
Yeah. I know, solid colors. This looks like it does a fairly good job of keeping them nice.
I don't disagree with having Wade and Trim maybe give us something, but Wade and Trim's is going to be a wider, they're going to cover more townships rather than our township. Our township is made up of, it's a farming community. Things are different here than when you get down to the cities or you get to the bigger, if you go to Davison, it's going to be completely different. Even on the outskirts of Davison, it's a different mentality there. Everybody lives in cul-de-sacs. I mean, it's not uncommon. So it's not uncommon if you was to go to Davison area, even the outskirts of Davison, for people to complain about Connex spot. They're not going to want them.
Right.
Because a half mile down the road is going to be a cul-de-sac that's probably got $300,000, $400,000 houses in it. This is a farming community. So that's my thing. I mean, do we overgovern them? What do we do with them? They're everywhere already in the township. So either make them allowable use and then government a little bit. Like, I think saying you have to have 2 acres or more to have one, to me,
We'd have to go back.
to me,
all
that's
of
like
our-
overgoverning them.
Yeah. Easy thing is to put them in there.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not against them. And I'm not against us saying they have to be one solid color. And I'm not against, you guys want to add stuff. I'm just saying, I mean, I'd hate for us to start out on this road of we're going to govern them to the point of it's going to create issues. It's going to create a bunch of issues for people that already have them that aren't supposed to have them.
Well, this one that's here makes it look pretty darn easy. Do you feel like this is too much that they have in this one?
It is.
They do put a lot of restrictions.
They got a lot of restrictions on them. I mean,
I do think they should be allowed. I do. If we
If
allow,
this is the road you guys want to go, I'm only one person on this board.
I think they should be allowed. There's a storage shed under the same rules. It has to be so far, the setbacks have to be met.
So are we going to come up with something for Wade and Trim? So he knows what direction we're going, so he knows what to send us, or what are we doing? What do you guys want to do?
first, I think we should see, have everybody voice, do they think they should be allowed? I think personally they should be allowed. Ed, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, again, there are certain areas I feel I would not like to see them in the LR district.
I agree.
And I think there's also, you may want to look at, in our mobile home district,
Yeah, you would.
that's gonna be too small. So those are things we gotta look at.
Well, the lots.
Yeah, but, we just make sure we,
And also, I don't think we should allow them to be double stacked. I don't want them stacked up. I mean, in theirs, they didn't want them multiple stacks of them.
like here, like you say, they say, maybe used as living quarters, they shouldn't be, Should they be limit that you don't have livestock in them, things like that. I think there's a lot of good items in the example I have given. We
Have you seen some of the chicken coops out there? They make a terrific livestock.
Right.
It's
And then
sturdy, doesn't fall down.
there's people turning them
There's
into
sheds
homes.
that are falling down everywhere in this community.
I mean, Luann, where are you at?
I don't like seeing them in the front yard. I will never use one. I really don't care as long as they're not a blight problem, as long as they're in the backyard. The discussion at the township board, the notes that I took when we talked about it there, they wanted to make sure setbacks would be noted, put them in the backyard. And they were going to discuss changing it to a shipping container title as, so they had talked about it too. The main thing was you don't want them looking back. If they can keep them painted and keep them nice, put them in the backyard and away from the lot lines so the neighbors aren't going to worry about them. They didn't seem to be too worried about them
So
either.
all of us agree they're acceptable. Just telling how do you want to put them in there?
right.
So it's down to that.
What Brad just said sounds pretty reasonable to me.
And it was,
Just
just three
right by the setbacks.
were the big issues that they would want covered.
I'm with me.
Backyard, that's the meet setbacks.
Like Ed said though, they shouldn't be allowed in the Lake District, our district.
The other ones I was thinking of would be
Do you want? I do think we should have limitations. I mean, do you want them stacked?
Well, I mean, what if you wanted a double stack and put a roof over top of them, turn them into a building? You got them new.
I've seen people
You
do
turn
it,
them
and
into Quonset huts, I
they
think you're
turned
calling?
into great. They look nice, actually.
Right. I mean, is that a different issue?
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
If you limit the size of the lot that they can be on, would that not eliminate them from the districts you guys are talking about?
No, not all the way.
No.
In yellow, you got lots around the lake that are plenty big enough.
Okay, you stand corrected.
And then their front yard is lakeside, so they'd put them in the backyard towards the road.
Right.
So that would be another issue in the lake.
Is the lake
Yeah.
zoned? What's the zoning for the lake area?
LR, Lake Residential. So it's a
So
separate
that you
zone.
can list
Yeah,
that.
section, you exclude it.
Okay, so you guys got 4 things so far. No LR, got to be in the backyards.
Don't stack them.
I mean, what's your opinion? I mean, I'm just saying,
If they're stacking them, they're going to be more noticeable.
but if
I mean,
somebody
maybe
doesn't.
try it for a while, and then if somebody comes in and says, "Hey, I need to stack them,"
I would think anybody that's stacking them, they're going to use them to build a building out
And then they would need,
Right.
this stack right now.
And they did a nice job there.
Yeah,
So
those are
that's
nice
nice.
Then they need a building.
Very nice building. What's that?
Right.
Then they
you
should have a building permit.
Yeah, if they're gonna do that, that's putting up a building, so they would have
Right.
to have a building permit.
Yeah.
And we've got the regulations in there for that.
He doesn't.
And we need to make that noted in the ordinance to cover these, if that's what you want. That if it's going to be a building, it needs a permit.
Yeah, it would have to be a
Well, you
building
have to have a
permit
permit
if
for
you're
making
making
a
a building.
Correct.
It has, you know,
Yeah.
it should.
Well, I guess the
It
thing,
happened without a building permit before we realized that, so. For the
I guess
future,
the
we'd
thing
want
of
to
it
correct it.
is the shipping container or Connex box considered permanent, or is it considered a shed that's not permanent?
It's
It would have to be a shed, not permanent, because you couldn't
You
think.
have to have a zoning permit to get a shed. So if this falls under that criteria, you would still need a zoning permit.
even if it's under 50,000 square feet,
200.
Zoning
200, 200 square feet, and it's not attached to ground.
It says for any structure that is going to be erected, moved, modified, blah, 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 blah. Sure. You're right.
Structures
We need to know if it's gonna meet your setback requirements, and if there's a zoning explanation.
Yeah, I would need a permit. I would. And to put these kind of things in place, you need a permit for that person to know they gotta be off the lot lines and in the backyard.
Oh, so, go ahead.
I think we're all in agreement that they should be allowed.
We're in an agreement on that.
So we're down to just,
Are they considered a permanent structure?
No. But they still have to have a permit.
May I make a suggestion?
section there.
Yes.
I know you use this charter township and highlight the things that you wanna keep and cross out the things that you don't wanna keep and create a draft.
Any of it. Thank you.
I think it's
So
laid
it's
out
in,
pretty
it's in
nice.
14, is that what it is? Page 34.
So their section 3.34A defines what zone, what districts are allowed in. He said we don't want them for LR. And we probably would say we don't want them in the manufactured home district, right? What about multi-family? residential.
There are 4 dwellings per acre, they probably wouldn't have enough acreage, enough space, if we have that 2 acre minimum on it.
Right. We just exclude it, or do we default to that acreage? So
Or it could be a question for Adam.
I do think if you go to that 2 acre requirement, then you should be going to that with the other things too. That's the main thing.
okay, so we're gonna definitely, we feel they shouldn't be an LR and MPH. They will ask Adam about the district.
That's the RM district.
Not in
Mhm.
LR and what?
Omaha.
Mobile home, MHP. But the RM, multifamily residential.
Right. Why would you not allow it there?
Usually they're a small area.
Well, usually when you got a multifamily deal, you got several. It's a conglomerate of home, not a single home.
Well, I guess my multifamily would be a townhouse.
Right.
So you wouldn't allow anybody with a townhouse to have them?
I'm just putting it forward as a question.
So we got 3 districts you guys would like to eliminate.
I have for sure two. I do the LR and the manufactured homing.
Okay, so we got the 2 districts.
That the other one, I mean,
I just know of the multifamily homes in the township that if they wanted to have one there, they could have one there and it wouldn't be obnoxious. There's the one over on Haynes Road that sits way off the road. That's a 3 unit.
what about the 2 unit on Barnes Road?
Barnes Road, you got two
there.
Yep, two townhouses there. I think those are condos or townhouses, whatever you
They're
want to call them.
duplex.
Duplexes, whatever. Those are multi-units.
Do they have the yard size if it's the 2 acres? They don't have a big backyard.
They have a big enough yard, but I just don't know how you can force us into the 2 acres because look at all the other sheds and semi trailers. We don't make any of those
They
requirements.
still have to follow the lot
It's
size.
just pulling from this.
Right, not the lot size. They still have to follow the setbacks from the lot lines and stuff. So, I mean, either they'll have enough room to set it, off the lot lines, or they won't.
So these would fit right under the 1411. They'd be added right into the 1411.
That's why I kept going
Page
back.
31.
What area did you say?
Page 31, 1411, section 1411. It'd be right under the same thing as the semi trailers, the truck bodies, the storage structures. Be no different than them.
You're looking at the prohibited paragraph?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I am prohibited. Thank you. Yeah.
We're going to take them out of there.
So I guess, do we want to ask Adam about the
That's why you guys need to have Adam draft your ordinance. You've already drafted ordinance amendments before.
Either way, I mean, but, or do we want to make our decision on the RM now? I have no way.
We're going to make the decision on the RM now as a planning commission of what we feel is best for the township.
Right.
As a collective group here.
I mean,
And then we're going to come up with
I don't have
a rough draft, and then we're going to have a public hearing, see who shows up, who comments on it, and then we're going to move forward with it, and we're going to amend it. So this can be done and over with. And
First decision we need is where we're not going to allow it. And I think mobile home and lake residential, they should not be allowed.
yeah, that's been popular consensus, my sentence, and Matthew's sentence.
And making a list of what we agree on.
I mean, I don't have any fight on RM. I just ask, what does we feel? I think all the other areas, they
I
definitely
think they would have, I think what dictate there is if they had room. If the lot's big enough and there's room enough, then fine. If it's not, then they can't do it. It's pretty simple. You gotta have so much room, so much setbacks, and if it doesn't fit into that, it's out.
Okay.
Your definition is on the first page. Is everybody good with the definition?
This thing that
Talking about that.
right here, section 2.2 in front of it.
First page, your definition.
We agree a use, building, or structure on the same lot and with a nature. No?
Nope. Keep going, new definitions.
The next one down, 215.05. Cargo, shipping container, shipping storage container, hereinafter referred to as cargo container. Any metal, primarily metal container designed or constructed to ship, store, or handle bulk goods or items, or which appears substantially similar to such containers in appearance. Such containers include reusable steel boxes, freight containers, bulk shipping containers, originally a standardized reusable vessel that was designed for and used in the parking, shipping, movement, transportation, or storage of freight, articles of goods, or commodities generally capable of being mounted or moved on a rail car or loaded on a ship. I'd say that covers it.
So everybody's good with that?
That's the keeper.
Read the.
we want to stay with temporary, right?
Huh?
Next one is temporary. We want to allow this.
We'll read it, make sure everybody wants.
A portable or movable, weather resistant receptacle designed to use for storage or shipping of household goods, wares, variables, valuables, and merchandise typically known as pods, mods, etc. And with a lease or a short-term base for temporary storage purposes.
I don't know why we need all of it.
It covers everything.
I mean, would you call the pods of mods?
No.
You wouldn't.
They're not well made.
But that's
Okay.
temporary.
They're like a truck
But
box.
but it's temporary.
These are for temporary,
Yeah, that's for if you were going to.
it's like the U-Haul.
Yeah, exactly. If you were going to move from Millington to Saginaw, you have these pods put there. You can fill them at your own leisure time, and then they come in and pick them up.
This is describing two different containers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
These are the ones that would sit in the backyard and stay. These are
Do
the
we
ones
need
that
that
front
in
yard
our
take.
ordinance for what reason? Now somebody has to ask permission to have a pod or a mod in there to
I'm
move?
just defining these. I'll just focus on the definitions. Are you good with those definitions? Is that how you would define a cargo shipping container versus a portable storage container?
That shows the difference between the two. One's going to sit in the backyard and stay there a long time. The second one describes the ones that are come in, you move them, you empty them out, and they take off again.
Short-term basis during temporary storage.
Keep that description, the definition.
I think we should. I mean,
You already talked about the districts that you want to eliminate and permit them in all the other districts. So then B, cargo containers for permanent storage. These are the conditions under which you're allowed to have them. There's 14 conditions listed. Go through them one at a time and decide if you're going to keep it or scrap it.
here's where you want to keep it more simple.
I don't want any of it.
Cargo containers shall not be used for any advertising
You're gonna allow
purpose.
advertising?
Shall be kept clean of all alphanumeric signage and writing.
Yes,
Yes.
I like that, and I like number 2.
Well, you have a shit ton of them out there right now that have alphanumeric signage and writing. So the question is are you going to go back to all those individuals and tell them that they have to a solid color?
It's not a question for us. Because part of the zoning ordinance, that's a question for you.
No, it is a question for you because if
For
you're
me,
going,
if it's in their backyard, they can have whatever they want on it. I don't care if they paint flamingos on it and put a bar next to it and they use it for whatever. I think it's in their backyard. It's nobody's business but their own what's on it. It's not in their front yard. They're not showing it to their neighbors. Actually, we're going to be frank and we're going to tell everybody when they got to paint their house.
No,
That's my opinion.
So don't put those restrictions on them.
That's only one person's opinion. You guys think
would
they
they
need to
be
be
a
kept off?
non-conforming
no,
previous use or something because
no,
if they were
you
there?
can't grandfather in something that's illegal.
Right. All right.
Would it be that big of a deal to just paint the darn thing if you've got one that is ugly?
No, not at all.
And we say we
Keeping it
want
or
a
leaving it?
nice-
That's what I'm asking.
I say paint
I
it.
say we keep it.
Keep it.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. You're one of the other.
Keep it.
At least keep number 2 painted a solid color. Then you don't
Well,
have to worry about that.
Hang on. We're on one at a time. Let's get through this.
Cover it up.
Keeping it or leaving it?
I say yes for one.
Opperman?
Sure. Yep.
Griselle?
Yeah.
Fletcher?
We're on number 1 or 2?
One.
One, it shouldn't be at any advertising purposes.
No alphanumeric
Mhm.
signage or writing.
Keeping it or leaving it?
Keep.
All right. Cargo containers should not be painted in a solid color.
Shall be.
So it's,
Shall be painted in a solid color.
so everybody decided we're keeping number 1?
Yep.
Yep.
So that does mean that I'm going to have to go around and let everybody know that they have to do something to fix that. So Joel, that means yours would have to be painted a solid color.
It's too late. We're moving on.
I'm just making sure
Well,
we understand the
Yeah,
implication.
but I mean, this isn't written in stone yet. This is,
All right.
Number 2.
if we
Number
didn't
2.
have 1 and we just went with 2, it's gonna mean the same thing.
Same thing. Yeah.
So number 2, you're keeping to go with number 1.
You guys want to keep number 2?
I say yes.
I like the solid color better than,
I don't care if they're pink with polka dots on it.
I
They're in their
don't either.
backyard.
I don't need it.
But Matsky,
All right.
keep or leave? Hang on. We're not done. Matsky, keep or leave?
2 you keep.
Fletcher, keep it or leave? It's
No.
easy.
Keep.
No from
Leave
me.
it.
Opperman?
Keep it.
Mr. Azell? We're keeping it.
yeah.
She voted 3-2. All right. Solid foundation, road-based material, gravel, or better is required for the permanent storages. I'll say yes on that one. Fletcher?
Yes.
Matsky?
Yes.
Opperman?
Sure.
Yes.
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 No motor vehicles are allowed to be used as a cargo containers for permanent storage. Huh?
I just keep by that one, huh?
Huh?
That's like the buses and
Right.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
That makes-
and that's already in.
Yeah.
4 is yes. I say yes.
I don't understand what it's saying.
No motor vehicles like buses and
Right.
stuff like that. That's already in our ordinance.
Right, but we're talking about cargo containers. What's that got to
I think you can skip it.
All right. Cargo containers shall meet the setback requirements of section, or whatever ours would be.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Aye, aye.
meet the setbacks.
Yes,
Yep.
Yeah,
Cargo containers shall not be stacked above the height of a single container device.
yes.
I'm gonna go yes on that too. Maskey,
Yes.
Fletcher,
yes,
Opperman?
Yes.
Yes, we're keeping it. Keeping 6. No electricity, plumbing may be run connected to the cargo containers. That has to come out, I think, my opinion.
Yeah, I don't.
You're not gonna let somebody put electricity in your shed
I
or water out there if you use it for a chicken coop. Be nice to have electricity and water in it.
Yeah, let's bypass that one.
So we're gonna
Well, I'm
get
only
rid of
one
it.
person.
We're getting rid of it, my opinion. Opperman,
Yeah, get rid of it.
Fletcher, Maskey, Mr. Zell.
I don't care.
All
Yeah,
right, we're getting rid of it. Cargo containers must be placed in a rear yard of the property unless screened so as to not be visible from the street and finished in a manner which minimizes its visibility from the overhead views from nearby buildings and elevated thoroughfare sections.
Yes.
I thought we wanted them in the backyard.
We do want them in the backyard, but it says they have to be screened. You can't see them from the front yard.
So I put a period under after. Cargo containers must be placed in the rear yard of the property.
yes.
And then period. Yeah.
Then get rid
I
of the
don't think
last.
we need the rest of it.
Yeah, the rest of it we don't.
All right,
You
I
don't
can
have to
agree with
worry
that.
about nearby high
Right.
buildings very much.
You're going by 55. You should be watching the road, right?
Cargo containers shall not be used to store hazardous materials as defined by the Michigan Fire Code.
Yes,
Maskey,
Yes.
Fletcher,
Yes,
Opperman.
Yeah.
You guys are keeping it. Cargo containers shall not occupy required off-street parking, fire lanes, loading, or landscaping areas.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Everybody agree on that?
yes.
We're keeping it. No cargo containers shall be placed in a location which may cause hazardous conditions, constitute a threat to public safety, or create a condition detrimental to the surrounding land use and development.
Yes,
Maskey,
Yes.
Fletcher,
yes,
Opperman, yes. Mr. Jarzell said yes. Keeping it. No cargo container may be used as a living quarters.
Yes.
I say no.
We do have a rule for living quarters that it can't be less than a minimum square footage.
I don't think.
Table in Article 12.
I don't think people should be living in them. They don't have no septic or nothing.
I get asked about tiny houses all the time.
Right,
but
people turn them
our
into tiny
ordinance
houses.
currently prohibits it.
Oh yeah, it's in there. You have to have a minimum of 1,000 square foot per house.
hmm
I do remember that. There was a big issue over that.
So 12 is,
It stays just because of our ordinances. No,
because of our ordinances, do we even need it? If our ordinances say the
You might as well
better
leave it.
spell it out.
Might as well leave it.
Better spell it out for people. No structural modifications may be made to our cargo containers. I say get rid of it. The reason is if you want to put a different style door in it, you want to cut a window on the side of it, that can be looked at as you're structurally.
backyard
change
bar.
So that's right. So get rid of it. Opperman, yea or nay to get rid of it?
Yeah, get rid of it.
Fletcher,
get rid of it.
Maskey,
get rid of it.
Jarzell. No livestock or pets may be stored in the cargo container. My vote is get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
Maskey. Cargo containers for temporary use. Property owners will be required to obtain a temporary zoning permit from the zoning administrator. Property owners using cargo containers for temporary use must be able to produce for inspection upon request by the township any documentation related to the shipping dates for each container on site. No cargo container used for temporary storage shall be kept on the premises for longer than 3 months upon approval. This period may be extended for an additional 3 months annually. The following regulations shall also apply. Yes. Property owners will be required to obtain temporary zoning. So if it's temporary,
The temporary use of it.
And then these other ones are the same as the permanent ones with the no fire, no electricity.
Have the same, so make sure you read through it. For instance, number 1, for the placement of these temporary structures is a driveway or a front yard area. Is that where you want that?
Yeah, I mean, if it's temporary, if someone.
Absolutely, if it's temporary, that means you're using it to load stuff in to
Yeah.
ship.
If it's
Hey, you're trying stuff in the backyard when you load it and have a guy come drag it out of your backyard.
Mhm.
It's temporary. That means you're either using it to store stuff in because your house caught on fire and you're doing demolition work,
Remodeling
or you're remodeling, or there's something going on,
Moving.
Or
or
you're
you're
moving
moving.
Yeah, they got three month max in that.
with one more 3 months.
Right.
And I don't think that's long enough, really. Your house was to catch on fire and you're remodeling or something like that. You could spend a year doing that easily.
The number one we need to get rid of. Here's my concern.
If we're talking about the pods,
Number 8 would answer your question. I'm jumping ahead, but what you're asking about, Kelvin, I think would be number 8.
yeah, that allows it to stay.
Right.
When I think of these, it's like the pods. You move them in, you empty them out, you get them out of there. A week or 2 is all you need for these, the temporary ones. They allow you 3 months. That seems plenty long
Actually,
for
it's
that
6
kind of
months.
temporary.
They allow you to renew it for another 2
Yeah.
months too.
so you guys want to keep it?
On one,
They
right?
would be they'd be in the driveway or the front yard.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's a temporary.
Are we keeping one?
I think so.
Mr.
Why
Zell?
not?
Yeah,
Offerman?
noting that it's under
Yes.
temporary use, yes.
Fletcher?
Yes.
Maskey?
Yes.
All right, you guys approve it. Cargo containers shall not be stacked above the height of a single container device.
Since
Yes.
they're temporary, yes.
All right. Everybody, aye?
Yes.
No electricity or plumbing may be run or connected to the cargo container. I have to agree with that. It's temporary.
Yes.
Ayes?
Yes.
Yes.
Cargo containers shall not be used to store hazardous materials as defined in the Michigan Fire Code.
Yes.
Everybody in agreement?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Cargo containers shall not occupy required off-street parking, fire lanes, loading, or landscaping.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes? Yes?
Yes.
No cargo container shall be placed in a location which may cause hazardous conditions, constitute a threat to public safety, or create a condition detrimental to the surrounding land use and development.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maskey?
Yes.
No cargo container may be used as a living quarters.
Yes.
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 All yeses. Cargo containers associated with approved building structures project shall be permitted to remain on site until the approval of the lesser of the project's final building inspection or the expiration of the building permit.
There you go. Yes.
Yes.
Fletcher?
Yeah.
No structural modifications may be made to the cargo containers.
For temporary.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, down there?
Yes.
No livestock or pets may be stored in the cargo containers.
Yes.
Yes.
Portable storage containers. Placement portable storage containers may be used in all zoning districts and shall adhere to the following restrictions and requirements. So they're talking about the portable pods and stuff. No portable storage containers may be stacked on top of another or on top of any other object.
Yeah, the first 3 are no, are to stay, right? Just like the
Well, we're
last
keeping
ones.
one.
Yes.
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 Portable storage containers shall not be used to store hazardous materials or defined by the Michigan Fire
Yes.
Code.
Yeah.
Yes.
No plumbing may be run, connected, or portable storage container. Portable storage containers used in a residential district or associated with residential must be placed on a driveway or paved area.
Yes.
I don't know about that. I mean, if
No, you don't want it in your front yard crushing your septic system.
well, if they don't have their septic system in front, and you know, I mean, if they needed their driveway for construction traffic and stuff, if they put it off to the side, it's just temporary, isn't it? Do you really need to tell them they have to have it in the driveway?
I don't know.
I don't.
What's your
guys' choice?
Well,
Fletcher?
That's right. They should be able to place that off
So
beside the drive.
are we keeping it or removing it?
I think we should remove that.
All right. Ashke,
Yeah, we should remove it.
Opperman?
Yeah.
Mr. Zone? It's getting removed. Portable storage containers used in a non-residential district or associated with a non-residential use shall not occupy required off-street parking, loading or landscaping areas.
Yeah.
Fletcher?
Yes.
Mr. Zone?
Yeah.
It stays. No portable storage container shall be placed in a location which may cause hazardous.
That's it.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Lose any-
Well, right here agrees with us.
or didn't-
This is constitute a threat of public safety, yes. Pages are mixed up. Condition determined to the surrounding land use and development. We already said yes to that one. Number 7, no portable storage container may be used for living quarters. Yay? Yes? Ashke? 7?
Yes.
Fletcher? 7? No portable storage may be used for
Yeah.
living quarter.
Yes.
Yeah, all right, it stays. Time limit.
Stays? Yes.
Yeah, because it's
Yep,
temporary.
okay, yeah.
Time limit. Portable storage containers shall be removed from the property within 90 calendar days from the date of the initial placement. Property owners are allowed one additional 90-day period annually.
Yeah.
Fletcher?
Yes.
All right, we're keeping it. In no event shall the use of a portable storage container exceed 180 days during any 12-month period.
Now that right there, though, during construction, if
Yeah,
you're.
and then the next one,
allowed
they
it.
sort of, next one, they go that they're gonna remain on site until the,
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna keep 2 and 3.
Yes.
yeah.
Fletcher?
Yes.
Yes. We're going to 4. Portable storage containers may not be placed on a vacant lot unless that lot is associated with an approved building construction project. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
What do you guys want to do with 4?
Well,
Keep it or get rid of it?
if you were starting to set up to build something, you should put something there to keep your material under, out of the elements for a while.
Right,
To get
all your equipment, tools, your saws.
Right, yeah.
I don't know about that.
So, well, it's saying that you're allowed to have it.
Yeah,
for that.
unless the lot is associated with approved building
Yeah,
for
construction.
construction.
You're not just gonna plop it
Okay.
on an empty
I
one
got you.
unless you're construction. So yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we're keeping it. All right, you guys, we made it through it.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to take it up?
Schedule the hearing.
I like the way Tammy drafts ordinances, but I understand
I'll do
the
it.
problems that,
I'll do it.
so you guys wanna do it, we'll do it.
You got to make sure we modify the sections that are in
Yeah.
here for the definitions. Since we're going to keep this and keep this, we have to know what sections that we're putting it in or where we're going to amend the section we're adding it to. I think you're going to want to know that before you
Yeah.
agree to type this up.
Yeah, that's going to be critical.
Want to decide on a hearing date?
We probably should have it drafted before we say it. Very, very.
So you'd like to
Yes.
draft it, approve the draft, then
Yeah.
do the hearing date?
We may need to make changes next time or,
But they're going to be minimal change to the draft if we do the hearing date.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could. Or
Let's
next.
get the draft first.
Yeah.
Yeah, look
Okay.
it over.
So that we can review it.
Let's go with the sections tonight.
Yeah, so you gotta do the
section.
section so you can do the drafts. When you come back to the next meeting, so when we have the next meeting, we can at least look at the draft that night and then schedule the public hearing. We can get this done.
Where do we want to put this at? 1409. And
Some of it's gonna, right,
1411.
we have to make sure that we remove it from the, thank you. Gotta be removed on 1411.
So
The prohibited structures got to be removed out of the that section. Whatever we're removing on it. No bus, camper, mobile home, international, semi-trailers, truck. So we got
another
It looks
section.
like we're gonna have to, in 1411, we're gonna have to make sure we amend this to remove truck body or other motor vehicle, which really is just the truck body.
Similar structure.
Oh, yep, I see. I guess I didn't read far enough. Truck body. Yeah. Leave truck body.
Do we create another section, 14.26?
26.
That puts it at the end of the, all that section. So
14 what?
it'd be a new section after 14.25 is the on-site wind energy. And then there's nothing else.
Yeah, we always just amend the section. I don't remember ever creating a section.
We did for second rentals, for short-term rental.
Yes, we did.
I need to list some clarification for the 1411. Before we go too far.
Wait a second, there's no way to just amend that.
So if we're gonna create a section, why not create it in the temporary dwellings? Or
No, but very easy permanent. Well, it was going with really most of the ground, right?
Temporary, but not a gravel base. Hmm.
it really doesn't belong with the limitation powers and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Well, where I was at is I wouldn't, you had a whole new one. But I didn't want to, you put it like at 14.10, then everything else had shift. Right.
When we redo the ordinance, then we could put it where it belongs.
Right, you could reorganize them then, so
But in the meantime, it would have to be the 1426.
14.26.
I say, call it 14.26, and then when we redo the ordinance and organize it, we can put it over below the prohibited containers, when they're all in the same section. What exactly do you want removed from the 1411? Just semi-trailer?
No, I think it's similar item. Similar item.
Just
One about truck body.
Sorry.
Get a legitimate statement, guys.
Mhm.
Are we only doing similar items, or are we removing truck bodies
If
to
we're
allow
gonna
that?
allow these, we might as well allow truck bodies as long as they don't become a blight problem. But
Truck
then
bodies
she'll,
aren't made the same though.
right,
Right.
but then she can, if they're full up and they're overflowing, you got crap all around them, and now you got the rats, then we deal with it as a blight problem. They gotta clean up craps around it and get the truck body looking decent again and used for storage, not for rat hole. We'd have to have some kind of way,
So
because like these, they close up tight,
Yep.
Truck
I would like
bodies don't always do that.
and then keep 14.26 really focused on the shipping containers.
Yeah,
We could still put in this amendment,
yeah, this will all go back on 14.26. I'm just,
but
to put in the notes what you want removed from 14.11, we need to word that.
Guys,
what did we vote on?
Truck bodies and semi-trailers need to be removed because it says they're prohibited structures. And we want to allow them.
That's what was voted on in a different meeting.
Yeah.
So
there isn't. Okay.
You'd have to make a
So-
list.
Are you, one of you guys making a motion for what you guys want removed out of
so what
there?
did
So
we-
far we got, you guys want to do semi-trailers, truck bodies, and similar items.
And if we leave or other motor vehicle body, that covers buses?
Well, no, it
Or
defines buses, says no bus, camper, mobile
okay.
home, manufactured home, semi-trailer, truck body, other motor vehicle body, or similar item shall be placed on a property for use as storage.
The only thing I think we should take out of there is the semi-trailers and the truck body. And add them to that.
What about the similar
1426.
item? Because it doesn't,
Well, if
Hey,
you took
there's so many
the
similar
trailers
items.
and truck bodies and the similar items, beside everything else that's listed on there.
Does it apply to the buses and the mobile homes
okay.
listed above it?
And then make a motion, we remove semi-trailers and truck bodies from 1411. And add it to 1426. Just for now, as a,
We haven't discussed any of the conditions for semi-trailers.
right?
Truck bodies are
We
close to.
can move to remove these now, right? And then they're
That's
gone.
what we voted on that one other meeting to remove.
Yeah.
Them, right?
That we wanted them out. Do we have to make a new ordinance? We can
No,
just
we
take
can
them
just
out of
remove
this,
them. They're allowed
then
more
they're gone.
ordinance.
So we can take that out tonight and be done with it.
We could have simply
And
took
then
that out in
when
the
we-
Connex
You
box.
still gotta have a public, you gotta have a public hearing on that. We removed them, okay? And it would be amendment that would have to then go to Tuscola County Planning Commission.
But even then, I mean, we could just simply just take that stuff out of there and it would allow the Connex boxes, shipping containers, semi-trailers, that would allow all of it. We wouldn't have to do any of this other stuff we don't want to.
But I
So
think we
let's do one thing. This is what we're agreeing on. This is what we want to remove out of section 1411.
Yeah.
That's the
just
motion on the table.
remove it, not
Did anybody support it?
I support removing it, but not putting it into 14.26 with the Connex boxes.
Do we have support for that?
Have Joel change his motion.
all right, I'll change it to semi-trailers, to remove semi-trailers and truck bodies from section 14.11.
I'll second
All
that.
right, roll call. Hopperman,
Yes.
Fletcher,
Yes,
Maschke,
Yes.
Mr. Zell.
Yes.
All right, yes. Now, we're creating section 14.26 for the Connex boxes
Correct.
to be added to our ordinances or to be amended to our ordinances. And then they'll be added in and be redone. So, motion on the table is to create 14.26 for the shipping containers. That's my motion.
I'll second that.
What was that? I'm sorry. What did you just say?
We're creating section 14.26 for the containers.
Gotcha. Yes.
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 All right.
Yes.
So now that we have that settled, Do we need to visit anything on the semi-trailers or the truck bodies? Are we happy just removing them and making them an allowable use as it stands? I personally don't have an issue with them. They're in it. But I didn't have an issue with the Connex boxes or the containers neither.
As long as they're not, like I said, if it gets to be a blight problem, that gets handled under the blight. So we don't have to do more.
Okay, I'm good with that. You guys good with that? All right, good. So you're typing this up?
Yeah.
I'd like to motion that we. Mr. Jones,
Yes.
is there anything you want to add before I make a motion? All right, I'd like to make a motion. Mr. Opperman takes this and types this up for us and brings us the draft back at our next meeting.
I'll second.
Then we can read it and then schedule a public hearing from there. I have a second. Roll call, Maskey.
Yes.
Fletcher.
Yeah.
Savage.
Yes.
Yes.
That's an April meeting. Yeah, it's 14th, isn't it? Is it? Well, my date's right. Are you comfortable with that?
April will be the workshop.
Oh, yeah.
The end of April will be.
It's gotta be the 14th, so we could do it at the May meeting.
Yeah, we can push that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can explain, that's why I got it on the agenda.
If
I can
you-
explain that.
I should have marked this up. I didn't know I was gonna be doing this. I should have marked these up.
I got mine marked up.
You do?
Yeah, I got mine.
Hope your man should have marked things up. Thank you.
You didn't know.
Okay.
That's so great.
Moving on. Review the draft for Mark and Sherry Morris Millington Special Land Use Permit Approval document. So, Maskey, you asked to add this.
Yes. Oh, again,
What was the concern?
so when I started walking through what was in there, okay, the item 3, signability of permit, which actually is if it can be transferred or not. The verbiage did not match what's in our zoning ordinance today. So our zoning ordinance says property ownership special land use permit is non-transferable. I'd like to have that match what's in our zoning ordinance versus what is in there.
Is that the only change?
Then and then before, and this is actually it's in your packet, okay? The permitted conditions, I broke it into 2 sections. Permitted condition per special land use permit meeting. And that lists our A, B, C, and then D item. And then when I went to look at the permanent conditions per zoning ordinance, there was some verbiage that was a little different. So what I proposed is we copy section 10.10 of the Millington Township zoning ordinance STR amendment 041524. That is on pages 2 of 3 and 3 of 3. And that basically is then copied word for word from our ordinance. And then when people want to go back and compare that to our ordinance, all the numbers on there match our ordinance identical.
I see what you're doing.
Number two, I had some questions because some of this is our ordinance, which it just seemed odd to have it on a special use permit the way it was. I mean, you didn't need the whole ordinance on a permit. It made it cumbersome, I felt. And now you've added some more of the ordinance.
The only thing that really is added is item 2. And 3, I think it is, yeah. There's only 2.
Well, okay, why does this permit owner, Smith, care about how many are allowed in the percentage of.
But what it does is it keeps it identical when you copy it over. So it just,
Yep, but it's not necessary on the permits. We
Right.
pull the information out of the ordinance, put them in the permit, so that each permit owner is clear and understanding to that one permit. This just clutters it up. I thought it was very cumbersome and unnecessary to like repeat the whole ordinance back in a permit.
well, that's what I felt for items 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
No, those are
Last
the
meeting.
important things that protected the township that was recommended by Michigan State and the zoning enabling acts and places like that. So we took out the protections and put in the whole ordinance. And it still doesn't cover some of those recommendations from the other places. It just muddied the whole waters for me.
So if you look at what we went through in the last meeting, all the items we said to keep basically covers item 1, item 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So that's what we said to keep in it. Okay. So all by doing what I'm proposing is then you really only added 2 different paragraphs, item 2 and 3. And that lets the person know that, that they can only have, cannot exceed 10 in that area. I mean, it doesn't hurt to have that information in there.
But this particular permit owner probably doesn't care. They're worried about their permit and what do I need to do to keep my permit. They don't care about the other 9. So that's why I don't think it belongs in a permit. That belongs in the ordinance where it was.
But that's what we
You're
voted.
you're muddying the waters by putting a permit, an ordinance into a permit.
That's what we voted on to do in last meeting.
Well, it's not what I voted on to do because I see the difference between a permit and an ordinance and how the two work together. They are not the identical document.
So when we walked through this last meeting, we voted on keeping these items. They're listed here. Property owner may not own more than 2 short-term rentals.
Period. That was it. They don't need to know that it's a percentage of the 10. I mean, you can put it in there. You can have a cumbersome
And
permit.
all these
saying.
other ones that we highlighted are identical to what I put in there. We just added 2 more, but then what it does is it makes it match the zoning ordinance perfectly. I mean, you look at these are the same items that are listed.
So Ed, would you tell me what changes you made or you're proposing again?
You added 2 and 3 to the back sheet. 2 and 3. So the numbers matched our ordinance on how they're laid out in there.
Okay.
The rest of it was already on the permit. So you
Okay.
just added 2 and 3.
2 and 3.
And then in the front, what was your proposed change on the front?
So on the front, it used to read
Assignability.
Yes.
the sale, transfer of the property on which the special use permit is located shall nullify the special land use approval. Any new proposed owner or operator shall be required to submit and approved by the Township Planning Commission a new special use permit to continue the operation or activity. And basically, all that verbiage is covered in our zoning ordinance, the last items.
Right here. So this is what you added right here. The signability of the permit, the property ownership plus in the fee.
He added that.
He added that because it's part of our.
So all I did is replace that with item 13. Property owner special use permit is non-transferable.
That ends up being redundant though, of the way the first one was written. You needed it once and you were done. Now you got it listed twice. See that?
Well, it didn't say it in the first one that it was non-transferable.
Yes, it
Right.
did. Yes, it
Did
did.
it? I don't have it in front of me.
But why wouldn't we have the verbiage match our ordinance?
Again, Ed, you're writing an ordinance, you're putting the ordinance in the permit rather than making a permit from the ordinance. I can't make it any clearer than that. You go ahead and do what you're doing because that's what you voted on. But I'm trying to point out A permit is one thing, then you take the information that applies from our ordinance, put it into an individual permit. That's all they need to know is what applies to their permit, and then we approve that. They don't need to go looking back for PDF file 14, whatever.
And they don't have to.
Well, yeah, you do, because you've got it here.
I just referenced that. That's
If-
where it came from.
Yeah, if I'm gonna be in compliance, now I gotta go look it up. So, okay, I'm gonna say, and
No.
we'll see
I
what
really
the
don't think
people
it's
that
that
get
big a
these
deal.
permits think. It should be clear and concise like the first one was. Everything was laid out in the order. It was,
Regardless if they disagree with what's in this permit, it's part of our ordinances and it's part of their permit.
I don't think.
If it's on here or not.
I don't-
If it's not
Just
in
move
here,
on and-
it's
I
still
don't care.
part of it. And I don't take a side either way.
say,
All right, so are you guys comfortable with what he typed up? Because this is how basically they're gonna look.
Sure. Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to accept what he's typing up and for him to move forward on these.
Second.
Roll call. Here's
no.
Opperman.
Yes.
Fletcher.
Yeah.
Mackey.
Yeah.
Yes for me. I understand what you're saying, but whatever. All right. All right, so Ms. Garzell, the workable energy that you've been working on.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
when
don't, take
I-
your time, do what you need to.
Yeah. When I got back with Adam,
Uh-huh.
the 14th was the best day for him. It was also the best day for a couple of folks that I had reached out by phone and talked to, let them know. So we're gonna stick with the 14th for our workable renewable energy workshop.
Okay.
And I got a couple invites out already. The rest will be out in a day or so.
Awesome.
And then I think it sounds like we should have a good turnout. They're interested in it. I think they're available. So I just wanted to update you on that 6 o'clock. Adam's looking forward to it.
Yes.
Yep, our regular meeting day for 14th.
Yep.
Are we gonna do any other business in that meeting though, which we don't recommend?
I don't
No,
recommend us doing
he's
anything.
he's got like 4 or 5 points that he's gonna go over. What the state is saying now, what kind of workable trios versus workable ordinance and how, what's best for us. He's gonna be pretty thorough, I think. It sounds good.
No, it does sound good. I don't think we should schedule anything.
That's where I'm at.
I think we should just stick with that. That way we have plenty of time to, after he goes through the information and stuff, we want to ask questions, we can. We don't crunch for time because it gets to be late. Are you guys are all comfortable? Now we got what's going on. The 14th. Okay. Is that it?
I lost my agenda.
All right, so new business. Updating the Millington Special Land Use Permit Approval document that have been issued for Tri-County Airgun LLC and Midwest Motors LLC. Have a special meeting in May. So is that special meeting the one for him to turn in his reclamation plan back to us for the changes?
That is one for us to go through the document that you had signed for the gravel pit.
Because he complained about what was added to it after.
Correct.
Same as the other.
He said that's update his permit that he just got.
Yeah, he came in with the complaint of stuff being added after the planning commission. Okay, so on this new business, that's just giving us.
That's saying that, yeah, we really want to do that. And then we'll start working on, I have not reviewed it. I know Doyle has reviewed it, but I am not idea what items were.
So tonight we're just gonna schedule
Yeah, we're gonna move forward.
schedule for May, we're gonna move forward because of this complaint.
We're not even look at it.
We can go over it if you wanna go over it a little bit, but I don't think we should get into it like, line for line or
So
something.
that's what
Because we're gonna do it in May.
we're gonna do that. in May.
Tonight, we can't make a decision on, but if you want to give us each, and if you have copies of what the complaint was, and each one of us can have it, and look at this time.
Correct from him.
Okay.
No, if I've got enough for, I don't know for everybody.
Me and Matt, I'm not sure.
Go ahead.
These
So
are,
this is the permit that was approved in August.
this
Correct.
wording. It was major violation, not no violation.
Okay, and then on the second page, the permit expressly excludes the production of processing concrete or asphalt or creation or maintenance of concrete or asphalt plant on site. That's
Yeah.
different from his original permit.
That's what they put in back in 05 or 06, isn't it?
I don't have it in front of me.
Oh, no, that's the stuff that I had marked for, and I thought was wrong. Or that we needed to change. Maybe I haven't got the right paper. I guess I don't. I got so much stuff in here.
So, can you get a copy of that to one of us so we can
Yeah.
give the copy to the rest of us so we all
Yeah,
have time to
'cause there
look at
was-
this stuff?
I gotta go back through all my stuff.
Okay.
Cause there was several things that were put on there that weren't on the original.
So I'd like to make a motion that we add this to our May meeting.
So Doyle, these
Yeah,
things
we're gonna-
are slack for these.
There it is.
It's the third to your document here.
Oh, okay.
So is it page 2
Yeah.
and 3? You have
Yeah.
0 there, and then
The zero was,
that changed.
okay, I know why I marked it that way. E and F, I wanted to talk about, but the X's over here, that was all stuff that was added. That wasn't on his original permit.
So are you saying M, N, O, P, and Q?
Yeah, they were on the original permit that he got way back when.
They look very familiar to me from the original permit, but I'll try to look it up and we can compare. Yes,
There was,
that's right from the ordinance. From the gravel pit ordinance, it says you can't pull the permit until you notify him 30 days. Let him know there's been complaints and all that.
We need to get his original permit, is what you're saying, Doyle?
Yes.
Review it against this?
yes, but we need to get the original permit from back in 2007.
Okay, so I made a motion that we add this to the May meeting.
And we are also including, Midwest Motors LLC. Those are the two we were gonna look at trying to do together. So we did the short-term rentals, 3 of those together.
Yeah. His was. Okay, so I got a motion on the table that we're gonna review the Tri-County Air Grants LLC and the Midwest Motor LLC. Very important.
I'll second.
All right, roll call, Maskey,
Yes.
Fletcher,
Yes.
Hopperman. Yeah. Mr. Though.
Yes.
That'll be scheduled for May and we'll discuss it then.
Did you include the other one? You said the gravel pit and the
And Midwest
or
Motor.
Midwest?
Sorry.
Can you explain to me again why we're doing that when the guy doesn't have a problem with it? I just don't understand. It's like we're looking for trouble.
Things got implemented into his permit, but wasn't supposed to be, that we did not vote on.
But we did. Those things were presented to us and we voted on them. It's not our fault if we didn't all read them. But they were voted, they were approved. The man doesn't have a problem with it.
Again, I think we should redo his, mirror the other ones myself, but that's me.
Yep.
But he's a car rental, not a short-term rental.
It would be closely mirrored the other ones. It wouldn't have some of the same conditions as what the other ones got inputted with too.
Well, let's just go through them and then if we feel that we need to remove something or add something or.
Right.
But I guess we'll just go through it. So. All right, I'm going to move on to old ordinance amendment review. All right, so they sent me a whole thing of them.
Yeah.
And I didn't start printing them off. There's some in there that are from 1999 and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah, I put a few notations together. I printed a couple off.
There's a bunch of them that's got to be printed off. I started
Yeah.
reading a couple of them, and some of them are even hard to read.
Yeah.
Uh,
Things like, the way we're gonna have to go through this, you're gonna have to stack them up. Like 00-01, amend section 87.1 that was passed by the county in 2020. Each ones that were passed or went to the county has that on there. Some of them are, they look like they were approved, but there's no signature, no date at the bottom. The marijuana one was passed, went to the county here. 02-2, no date that it was passed. They wrote it up, but it never got passed. So that's why eventually, whether you want to take 5 at a time or.
Right, yeah.
so the one they got in 2020, that would be you and I.
Mhm.
So if we passed that, that had to go in front of the township board and then pass there. It just never got in.
It never got put in the book. A lot of these got passed, but never got in the book.
So they just need to be added to the book.
Yeah, some of them, but not all of them, like that, some of them. Light ordinance was 2010. Okay, 20-03, in September of '02, there were several changes. They took out some words. They eliminated gas and oil. Well, I double checked, it's out of there. Eliminate accessory uses, and that's out of there. So, okay, some of that, this one, it's already been worked in by the words they took out. Right? I mean, each and every one is something different.
Some of them may already be in there.
Yep.
Done, but
Solar
they just kept the
1702,
book.
well, that's real simple solar. But maybe we need to have it here for, here, Adam, here's what we got, show us where we need to go.
And I seen one was the cost for, fire trucks and stuff like that.
Mhm,
Do we really use that? 'Cause I didn't see that in our ordinance.
Yeah, so maybe that is a different policy that
Right.
wasn't really an ordinance. So that's why we're going to have to go through these piece by piece. Like, 03 might later find, oh, there's a such and such -05 that supersedes that one. Okay, now we can throw that away because we gotta use the current one, which would be 05. But until we have them all together, look at them one by one. And is there, did you say you pulled a bunch out, Amy, in a file? Printed, or are they just,
She sent out PDFs.
So they were printed and left in the office because I think Alvin said that he was gonna pick it up after the last meeting.
And I came in the one day and nobody knew where they were at. Jackie wasn't here, so.
But then I sent you, I asked me if I had an electronic version.
You sent me
I
that.
Scanned them all and I sent you the electronic version.
okay,
I also sent you a summary of what was there. 'Cause I wanted to have a summary for myself to know if I was supposed to be looking at something else when I was working on enforcement issue. So if that's helpful to you, that's available.
So I think with that summary that Tammy created, it'd be nice to say, like, add one more bullet point at the end of each one. Cause, what's our direction or whatever,
Use it however you want.
was there a summary included with these that,
I didn't see it.
Yeah. I mean, in the email that Tammy sent today.
I didn't,
Okay.
I didn't view them.
I guess I didn't get to the bottom, I was working through the top 2-3 lines, and
I opened up a couple.
so there is a summary there that we can all go over. Okay.
But the summary won't cover some of the items you had mentioned, Luann. I mean, we'll have to use the summary, but still probably look at the.
Yeah, that'll be a good head start
Yeah,
for what she's figured out already. Okay.
I mean, it's very brief.
Yeah.
So it doesn't go into.
Yeah, mine's pretty brief too, or as far as I know.
Okay, so we're gonna look at these and then make it old business for May.
Next item is, my understanding is there's a ZBA meeting on March 27.
Regarding the PC approval of the TCA Cedar Lakes Estates, reclamation site plan and the TCA resale special land use permit. Identify who will represent the PC during this meeting. So is there anyone that would like to go there and represent all of us? One individual is a voice for the on the commission board.
Or do we have multiple representatives?
What do you guys want to do?
I don't think it hurts to have multiple representatives. If somebody don't touch on something that the other person will touch on. Because there's a lot of information that needs to be brought to that meeting. So the ZBOA knows where we're coming from.
I think Matt's right. I think we all need to be there.
Yep.
Are we making a motion that all of us go there and represent the board? I don't see how.
At least I mean, one person would represent the board and be on the agenda. The other one's going to do it for 3 minutes, correct?
Right, or do we want more people to have, more of the board members to have more than 3 minutes?
They're putting on there.
You could. I'll go
Well,
on there.
there's not conflict of interest, right?
Yeah.
So do we,
But,
what?
so, full board, none of us has a conflict of interest?
Well, I mean, we haven't made it that far. I mean, Miss Yardell, I don't think she's gonna go and speak on it, are you?
Not unless I speak for the township board. They haven't decided yet.
Right, so she'd be the township board or like citizen comment if she wanted to speak.
So, we feel that, Doyle, Alvin, Matt, and Ed can speak on behalf of the planning commission for that meeting. All four of
If
us.
that's what we want to decide to do.
I think that would be a good idea.
I do too.
We'll make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we will represent, each one of us will represent the planning commission at the zoning board of appeals meeting on March 27th.
I would like to include the names, Matt Sheet, Fletcher, Zevit, and Opperman.
I'll listen.
And to include the names of Maskey, Pletcher, Zavitz, and Opperman.
Roll call. Maschke,
Yes,
Fletcher,
Yes.
Opperman.
Yes.
Mr. Azal.
I'll abstain.
Okay. Davis says yes. Okay, so we got past that. It's 10:30. Do you have anything for us for building permits or zoning administration?
I sent you all of my speed email today, so unless you have questions for me, I don't have anything else to share.
you send them just to Alvin or to the entire board?
I sent them to all of you. I actually replied to your email.
Oh, okay. I didn't see those documents and I missed that. It's,
They weren't in the same email as participants. They were in the same.
oh, they were in a separate email. I missed that one before I left.
I got them
Okay for me to.
Does anybody have any questions for him?
I don't.
I missed it before I left work.
Wasn't too busy of a month work.
You didn't have a lot of building permits this month?
We have two. That's it. For additional information.
You'd think with spring coming, everybody would be, guys, remember to take your minutes for March, please, and go over them. And if anybody can, if they have anything that they see, will they please contact Ms. Jarzal and talk to her. Right. And as of right now, we have Aggregate, the LLC for May. Is there anything that any of the board members think that we need to address in May?
Well, I think we actually had Matt trying to do his draft for April. But since we're having the renewable
That's-
energy, we need to move that to May.
That's already for May. Didn't we, when we made the motion, we made the motion for May.
Well, where's he May, not in April?
You also have the recreational vehicles.
Recreational vehicles. Somebody's got to clue me in. I'm lost here. What recreational vehicles?
The allowing them to be parked in the building
Vacant land.
on vacant land.
Oh, I did forget about that.
Yeah, we have one or two.
So we need to add that to Maze. We have to do something with that too, because that's another thing that's been like 4 months, 5 months now.
And it's summertime and they're gonna.
Thank you, Tammy.
Yes, thank you.
Something else will come up before me.
For sure. On the recreational vehicles, though, we really need to be prepared for that one, May, because we really need to move forward with that too. On making a decision if we want to change that ordinance or leave it alone.
Wasn't this the individual that was bought land, they have vacant land and wanted to store their boat there or something?
They want to store their trailer there. They bought the peninsula out there off of Murphy Lake. There's a little peninsula down there, and they want to leave their camper there rather than having to move it.
We have actually several warning letters. She was just the only one that came in and spoke to you.
So there's several of them out
There's
there.
a couple of them that have been, the board put a moratorium on enforcement of that provision until the planning commission decided what they wanted to do with it.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
But it's recreational vehicles, that would be boats as well as campers, travel trailers.
So we need to give it some thought and maybe, I don't know, maybe talk to some people about it and see thoughts are about allowing people on the LR to leave their stuff out there.
Well, I mean, not necessarily even LRs, any vacant land.
Currently, it's any vacant land within our district. You're only allowed to have a recreational vehicle for a maximum of 90 days with a permit.
And I'm going to say, in the township as a whole, it won't be an issue for the most part, I don't think, on vacant land. I think where the issue is going to be is in the LR district. There's going to be some that are going to be completely against the guy leaving his camper out there on a lot.
And that's, I mean, there was one, actually, the guy had to take a bulldozer to get it down to the location he had it. So, I mean, and that's probably one of the reasons the ordinance came into effect, okay? So, yeah, I mean,
And I know of a couple campers that were being placed on a lot. They were using them to rent, like a B&B rental thing. Like you can rent a camper while you're out here.
Well, that's the illegal according to.
yeah, that I
I'm not
hadn't
aware.
heard that.
You're in the wrong township.
Oh no, am I?
I don't.
Am I in the wrong township? So if we all can, let's give it some thought. Maybe see if we can talk to some people in the community a little bit about it that might live,
Emery, you live out there in the lake. What's your thoughts?
They bought the land knowing the rules.
There we go. There's one right there.
Hey, you live out in that district, don't you? What's your thoughts?
Originally, I thought it was that you had, after 90 days, it had to be moved off and then you could get it back on and restart it. That's what I thought it was. Now my understanding is after rereading it, it's 90 days within a calendar year. So, because that was one thing I had said to people in the past, well, take it off, go wash it. You know what I mean?
Yep. And that's what Bob and I talked about, old man Bob.
Okay.
And that's what he thought was,
That's
but after you get reading it,
It's not.
it's not,
Right.
you know.
I mean, and that would also eliminate the issue of someone make it more of a permanent
Yep.
fixture. You know what I mean? You can at least get it moved,
And it goes both ways. Do you want to start letting them in there? The trailers stay year round.
Right.
You know.
Like lots of vacant land, both in the Lake residential district as well as in other districts that are there year round.
And like you said, Alvin, most of the township will matter, you know.
On the other hand, they own the property, as long as it's not, sitting out next to the road or something, and they're gonna tuck it away from the wind anyway, or just, so it's not being messed with by people driving by. Why can't they store their
You can
trailer
see
there? They're gonna be right back in.
They're paying taxes
Can you
and
get ugly?
I can't bring my camper in.
Yeah. I see both sides of the coin. Some people aren't gonna wanna look at it, but other people, I bought the property.
Yeah. I'm that guy. I bought that property. I pay land taxes on it. I don't park the trailer. I just go park the trailer. If I don't park it up on the property line, or if it ain't a nuisance and it ain't all hillbilly fight and I'm not living in it year round, I should be able to park my camper there. If I want. I bought the property. I pay taxes on it. You didn't want a camper. You know what my attitude is? You don't want a camper parked on? You should have bought the property.
And I don't disagree with you, Alvin, but when your ordinances are already in place.
I understand, but we've had someone ask us if we would look at the ordinances and maybe amend them to allow it. That's where we're at.
And we just did it for trailers. Some
Trailers.
Oh,
Haven't done it for
That.
cargo. We're on our way.
We
Removing it.
threw under
Prohibited.
there too.
Yeah, it'd be camper or boat.
RV.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just food for thought. I would like a motion that we close this meeting.
Second.
For all eyes.
Aye.
Okay. Let's go. Yeah, I don't mean to be that guy, Emery, but I have a little corner out there that isn't much bigger than this whole building. I pay $3,200 a year in taxes. And I got everybody wanting to scrutinize what I do. Don't take the paper pad or the ink pen.
Alvin hears about it if you do.
I got in trouble for it. I gave it up.
Well, sure, yeah, they're in there here.
Didn't have a paper though.
Was it?
Okay. You didn't walk that much?
Yeah.
You say it. On the farmhouse, how you got it?
Thousands of horses?
That's
They're
Pottsville.
all there, are they?
See, lots of
Thousands, yeah. Thousands. Oh, pretty much in the barn.
Oh, are they? Why is that?
The boy Stewart wanted to do it.
They're shy.
Figured it was easier to take care of them.
Real.
Yeah, they run around the pasture chasing calves.
They're here right now.
See ya.
See you every day.